PrymalChaos.
Hey guys, PrymalChaos here. Welcome to the channel. Now, late last year, I sort of fell down this rabbit hole, a rabbit hole I was not expecting to come across on this channel. Bearing in mind, this channel started out exploring extreme heavy metal vocals, and it's evolved a long way since then, but we've somehow managed to find ourselves in South Korea checking out a whole bunch of K-pop artists. And, you know, obviously the pinnacle of that would be BTS, right? So the first video I checked out was Dynamite, and I was confused. I was like, I looked at it and went, wow, this has got 1.5 billion views. As someone who likes music, I've got to understand why that is or how that came about. You guys let me know really quickly that, look, this isn't what they typically do. They do a whole lot of other things, and that I should check out something else. So I immediately went and reacted to Mic Drop, which was exactly what I expected when I thought of BTS. There's the attitude, there's the punchiness, there's the edginess. I have no idea what to expect with Black Swan, but I do know that it was highly recommended. This video is brought to you today by my merch site. Just go over to PrymalChaos, P-R-Y-M-A-L, chaos.com, and you'll see I got a bunch of like band merch style shirts, hats, hoodies, you know, different things like synthwave stuff, stickers, some custom designs drawn by me personally, including the shirt I'm wearing today. And I've also got some shoes and stuff like that there. So jump on over. It's the best way to support the channel, and I really appreciate the support over there, guys. But yeah, that's not why we're here. We're here to check out BTS Black Swan, so let's jump right in. Okay, all right. One thing I was going to say, sorry to interrupt. One thing I was going to say just before I jumped in was, I really don't know what this relates to. I mean, I've seen the movie Black Swan. If it has any relationship to that, or, I mean, it appears to be that they're sort of, at least in title, it's referencing Swan Lake, right? The ballet. So yeah, and then we got performances so far in the first 19 seconds that sort of emulate that sort of classic dance. So this will be really interesting to see where they take this, if it's got a high energy sort of hip hop vibe, or if it stays kind of like musical and classical. I'm going to jump back a bit because I butted in. Let's check out that intro again. Wow, okay. Oh, that's cool.
But if the moment's right now,
one of the major issues I have with any of this stuff is that I really want to engage with the lyrics, but reading the subtitles, and you know, you've got to decide between these beautiful visceral images and amazing like production value and the performance energy, and reading the lyrics. So I think I'm going to have to default to just like, I'll worry about the lyrics later, but maybe if you guys could fill me in the comments about what the song's about, at least for this playthrough, I'm going to focus more on the performance, because to me, you know, I'm one of these people that lyrics aren't super engaging. The poetry sometimes depends on the song, but for the most part, I like the rhythms and the textures of the music, and I love the, you know, interpreting the feel of it myself. Unless a song is super lyric heavy, like if it's specifically poetry, right? You know, like Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, for example, is very lyric driven. So I'm going to make a choice on this one to sort of avoid trying to separate my attention between two things. I'm going to jump back there because I missed a bunch of cool stuff there I just want to talk about. First of all, I love the outfits. I love how there's that little element on the jacket of the feathers that sort of, again, implies the Swan Lake sort of connection. And there's some amazing classical dancing intersected with, you know, this modern dance that they're doing. And again, I'm not a dancer. I know nothing about dance, but I know what I like, and what they're doing looks amazing. But I love how they're keeping it kind of soft and flowy too. This is a really cool concept. I'm not sure if it shares any musical ideas with Swan Lake either, because I'm not familiar with the music. Look at that, wow. I'm mean, that's very contemporary dance, right? That shadow idea is really cool too.
But if the moment's right now, right now 귓가에 느린 심장 소리만 뻥뻥뻥 벗어날 해도 그 입속으로
Where is this venue? It's absolutely beautiful. So again, I haven't had an opportunity to really get to know each individual member. This gentleman here performing the contemporary / ballet kind of performance. First of all, what's their name? Second of all, are they the lead? I know that everybody has a role, and is this the lead dancer? I'd love to know that too. From a purely musical production perspective, this is absolutely stunning. The amount of work that's gone into the background of what you're hearing, like essentially that musically it's very simple, right? You've got like some ambient sort of noises and sounds that are kind of harmonic, and you've got your rhythm track. But then you've got like so much vocal layering and so much interesting sort of embellishment going on in the background that most people probably wouldn't even notice, because it's more of like a bed of just text. It's like a tapestry of audio noise, right? It's very, very pleasant to listen to. But if you listen to that part through there, you'll hear the main vocal, and it's very sort of like yowly, like it's yow, no, no, whatever. But behind that, you've got all of these delays and reverbs and echoes and other vocals coming in, sort of providing like a sonic bed for that to rest in, that makes it sound more interesting and ornate and delicate. Like, just have a listen. There's like vocoded vocals in it. That noise is typically like, again, this is the first listen. There's probably some other way they've done this, but typically how you'd get that sound is you would run it through something called a vocoder, or nowadays you can just edit it with a MIDI keyboard. You can actually just play the notes, and it will change the vocal melody in kind of almost like an auto-tune kind of way, where you can actually, the melody line will be sung, but then when you play the notes, it'll lock the notes into that, and you get this kind of weird sort of synthetic version of the vocal. And that's again in the background. It just sort of makes it sound a little bit more EDM and a little bit more sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I've lost it. But anyway, I'll show you what I mean.
차라리 내 맘 녹아게 내가 뛰어들어갈게 가장 깊은 곳에서 나는 날 봤어 천천히 난 눈을 떠 여기 나의 작업실 내 스튜디오 거세 파도 깜깜하게 나를 스쳐줘 절대 흘러가지 않을 거야 다시 또 inside 아싸마싸마싸 귓가에 빠른 심장 소리만 뻥뻥뻥 두 눈을 뜨고 나의 숲.
It's cool how this song's like super cruisy, right? It's got that Post Maloney kind of like dreamy sort of synthy kind of element to it. That's sort of like, it feels like a dreamscape. It's kind of, there's no hard edges or anything like that. It's very floaty, right? But then they'll have like little elements to put the attitude back in, like the bump, 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 you know, which in any other song would be a big explosive hit, bop, 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 you know, which would be choreographed to aggressive dance moves. But in this, they're utilizing it as kind of like just a textural device.
내
Right?
거야 다시도 inside 귓가에 빠른 심장 소리만 뻥뻥뻥 두 눈을
It's a little bit of staccato in a legato world, right?
내 삼킬 순 없어 힘껏 내 소리 질러 모든 빛을 침묵하는 바닥에 길이 있는 내 발목을 또 잡아 어떤 소리도 들리지 않아 Killing me now do you hear me you're holding 듯 천천히 가다
What was that?
Killing me now do you hear me you're holding 듯
They're just like, I feel like, because, okay, if you listen to the background sort of like musical sort of parts, you can't really put your finger on what you're listening to. It's not a piano, it's not strings, it's purely just synthesized kind of sound, right? And I don't know whether or not they've just used a bunch of samples and sort of played around with the melody and things like that, or if it's just played on a keyboard with, you know, a synthy kind of sound, and they've just layered so many different things, it's hard to pinpoint what it is. But they're also manipulating backing vocals and harmonized parts and things like that to sort of take those elements and make them sort of imbued inside the bed track, right? So there's a little bit, what was that?
Killing me now do you hear me you're holding
Hear that? Yeah, me now. Like it's like they've taken it and pitched it right up and squeezed the life out of it, so it sounds like a robot, and it's underneath the main vocal.
Killing me now do you hear me you're holding 듯 천천히
It's not even, it doesn't even have any sort of pitch or anything. It's just like this meow, 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 meow sort of sound. Yeah, it's all, yeah, I think what they've done is they've just put a whole lot of vocal ad-libs in there and run it through a vocoder and just like, I got a funny key. You know what I mean? Like they've played it like that, so it's sort of manipulate, or you go up a couple octaves and suddenly it sounds squeaky and artificial and things like that. It's a really cool sort of way of generating a backing, or like what we call a beat, you know?
Feeling me now do you hear me you're
Cool. Oh, that's such a cool effect. I never would have thought of doing that. It's genius. Very, very cool, guys. Very cool. So, yeah, that's a really interesting one. Like from, you know, that original sort of dichotomy I had between, you know, the very, very mid-range, sunny, glowing kind of feel-good track that was Dynamite, and then you had the punchy, aggressive, attitude-y sort of mic drop. And then this is just a completely other phase. I can see why all of you guys recommended it, actually. And if you did, thank you very much. I know I got hundreds of recommendations for it, but I read almost all of them, so I'm probably talking to you. It really does demonstrate like the diversity and the range this band has. Like I can see why I might have been mistaken by thinking Dynamite was what this band does, you know. But they really are. It's a whole world out there. I'm sort of a bit terrified to go deeper because I'm just going to keep finding new stuff. And you know, I didn't schedule a BTS rabbit hole for 2023, but it looks like it might actually happen. So man, this was such a beautiful, visceral, stunning song. It's it's realized on such a high level as far as its production. You know, sonically, it just sounds like a masterpiece. Vocals are all stunning. I love the energy of the performance, the dancing, the choreography, the venue, the way that it's shot, like those cool, they always seem to have, whoever's producing the video, it's like they've grabbed the coolest production designer and director who makes music videos in all of South Korea. You know, they've found the coolest guy to come up with the concepts for the video, and you see things you've never seen before. That's the one thing I love about watching BTS clips, is it's always something you go, what? I've never seen that. It's not an idea that's been lifted from something else, at least not to my knowledge. And for me, this one was, first of all, it was kind of like drawing from, you know, the classical, modern, contemporary dance, and sort of, you know, leaning into that sort of cultural phenomenon really that is Black Swan, you know, and ballet in general. And they've obviously chosen the venue to illustrate that connection. The costuming, you know, is just like little hinted elements of feathers and things like that to sort of give the impression of the Swan Lake sort of thing. Did I say Black Swan before? I meant Swan Lake. You know, this is what I keep saying with these guys. Every one of the infinitesimal or infinite details are always pinpointed and realized to an extreme level. Everything's done perfectly. The production design, the costuming, the choreography, the music production, the talent of the performers themselves, the vocals, you know, every single thing. I don't think anything's left a chance on the day. I think everybody knows going in. The entire production team goes in on the day and knows exactly what's going to happen and what it's going to look like. I'm sure they do pre-visualizations. It's treated like a feature film. You know, back in the old days, they'd point a video camera at a band and say, go. You know, nowadays it's, you know, with this level, operating at this elite level, that's what's mind-blowing to me. Other than the fact that it's a great song and there's great performers and great artists, it's everything else around it that's just, to me, you know, it's operating on a different level, you know. And I keep saying that every time I do BTS, that's kind of my takeaway. But, you know, rest assured to know that, yeah, all the songs have been amazing. I really like them. But to me, as someone with a background in more of that sort of background stuff, or at least more of an interest in that sort of stuff, it always boggles my mind how detailed these things are. And it's the same with Blackpink also. You know, you watch their videos and you're just like, in fact, I keep getting requests to react to some behind the scenes stuff from those guys. So it gives you an idea of just how complicated it all is. And I'll definitely be doing that. But, you know, thanks again, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Don't forget to check out PrymalChaos.com for merch. And, you know, if you just want to support the channel, if you like what I do here and you want to see me keep doing it, easiest way to support the channel is just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description. And, you know, like, share, subscribe. If you think anyone else might appreciate this reaction, post it on a forum, send it to them, whatever you want to do. It's the best way to get the channel out there. I'm growing consistently and have been for 12 months. I'm very happy with where I am. But, you know, getting more eyeballs is always part of the gig. So thanks again for all your support. Stay primal, and I'll catch you in the next one.